Um, Lola, hi.
Hi, Maureen. Hi.
Huh? Welcome to the show today. So, how has it been? How's your weekend so far?
Oh, the weekend has been relaxing, I must say. And yours? Oh, network. So we're just waiting on our guests. I know one of them is having technical hinges. I don't know where the other one is at the moment. So I'm just going to check. To our viewers at home, please just bear with us as we try and run around our guests today. I think they're running a bit late.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, today we'll be talking about life's hack as a warrior mother. I'm sure some of you viewers out there would have lots of questions, a lot of things going through your mind. You're wondering how easy it might be or how difficult it must have been for some warriors who have children. So, I'm sure you want to know how they have been able to cope with it. Living with sickle cell is one challenge on itself. Then having, younglings or young children, I know it's not easy, even when you don't live with sickle cell. It's not easy raising children. So I'm sure you guys are all out here to understand how these women have done this and perhaps even learn for future purpose for those who may be getting married soon or who just got married and interested in having children. Like I would want to know because I don't know. It's something I don't know. Like there's something. Is that something
Yeah, I think
you're looking
it's a
forward to
learning
learning?
it's a learning curve for everyone that has their fears, and I've had the myths about raising children or trying to have children with sickle cell. So I think these two ladies, they're just helping us break that myth that people have said, like, oh, you struggle with having kids, or it's going to be difficult. I think Ronke, that when she comes on, she's a mother of three boys, and with sickle
Whoa,
cell, I think that's very fantastic. Yeah.
whoa. Yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting them myself and like our viewers, I'm sure you're bearing with us, you're having patience with us. They'll be here soon. You know how
Yeah.
network can be. Well, but we've always heard or we've always been told that as women living with sickle cell, pregnancy can be quite difficult, which has sort of created this myth, that has lived. This myth has been on for I don't know for how long, but I'm sure for longer than I've been on Earth, where people think and say someone who lives with sickle cell it's difficult to have it's really difficult for them to have children. it's not just for the women right now, even for the men. I hear people say things like that it's hard for um, the men who live with sickle cell. It's hard for them to impregnate a woman. But then we're not talking about the men today. We are all talking about women because we are still celebrating. This is still in the whole celebration of the International Women's Day. We are all still commemorating that. So the men's talk will come later on in June when they'll be having the Men's Day, the Father's Day, and all that. Um, so we have um, our first guest here while we wait for the other guest. So,
Oh,
Lola, can you quickly introduce our guest?
oh,
Hi, Ronke.
finally,
Welcome
Ronke.
on Get Inside
Hi.
Yourself.
Yeah, I had to switch to my PC. I wanted to use my phone
Oh,
because the camera is kind of better. So he's still giving me, I think it's some permission issues. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for
hi.
having me here.
Okay, so we're still waiting on one guest. I'm just going to have the pleasure to introduce you today. Today,
Okay.
Aderonke So, to our viewers at home, we have Aderonke Lawal, who is a lecturer, a computer engineer, and a serial entrepreneur. She's a devoted mother of and three terrific boys. Welcome to the show, Aderonke, and lovely to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So
Thank
exciting
you
to be
so
here.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think Maureen also had network issues. So I'm just going to go straight into it. Who is Aderonke and how, before you tell us about your journey to motherhood, can you just tell us when did your parents discover that you had sickle cell and how the years ran by for you?
Okay. Thank you so much, Omolola. Once again, I'm so excited to be here. It's such a pleasure, and I feel really, really humbled and honored. So my name is Ronke Lawal, once again, and my sickle cell journey did not start from infancy like many people. I was already a teenager. Yeah, I was like 13. I was 13 years old. I was in boarding school, and one morning on the assembly ground, I passed out. And it was when I got to the sick bay, they checked me and they were like, "No, this girl looks so pale. Just take her straight to the hospital." So at the hospital, they carried out tests, and they had to call my parents, and we found out that I had sickle cell. It was really shocking because I was already, I wasn't like a baby anymore. So from then, we had to. I didn't really know what it even meant. I knew what I knew about sickle cell just because I knew somebody who was in my school, in that same school, that had sickle cell. But I case was so severe that I never really, I could even after even like years after I got the news that I had sickle cell, I still really couldn't process it because people tell me I don't look like one. I don't my eyes look kind of normal and stuff. So my journey is it's kind of different. So I had to start learning how to take care of myself. I had to start the usuals: eat this, don't eat this, drink enough water, avoid colds and all of that. So yeah, so basically that's how my journey started.
Thank you so much. Maureen,
Well,
before
that's
you
quite
had
an
network issues.
interesting story. Yeah, so we're still waiting for the next guest. So that's quite an interesting story. We rarely have warriors or we often hear about warriors who find out that, they live the condition, late into their teens or even in their early 20s. And it sometimes amazes me, like, didn't you, didn't you have this hope? While you were growing up, and people who tend to experience this. are majorly of a certain genotype, the SC genotype.
Yes.
Oh, thank you
So
so
that's why
much.
I'm
I can see we have Busayo, who was Busayo Me, who has just joined us. Busayo Me Taiwo, lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Um, can you
Good
hear us,
evening.
Busayo?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for joining late. Pardon my
Welcome.
It's
indulgence.
no problem. It's good to have you. Yes, no problem. It's good to finally have you here on the show, Messiah. Okay, so did you get my last question?
No, no, I didn't get it. Can you come
Okay,
again?
can we just take go slightly back because we hadn't had the chance to introduce Busayo on the show. I think Maureen just froze
Yes, yes.
to our viewers. So okay, she just froze. So Busayo is a nurse. Yeah, the network is a bit bad today. Busayo is a nurse, a writer, a counselor, and a teacher of the Word of God. She's married and blessed with three lovely kids. Welcome to the show, Busayo. Lovely to have you.
Thank you for having me here today.
So, before you joined us, we had asked Ronke, who told us her journey, how she discovered that she had sickle cell. What was it like for you? When did your parents discover that you had sickle cell?
That was my second term SS2. Yes, I've always
Wow.
been in and out of the hospital, and a proper diagnosis was not made on time for me. On that fateful day, I happened to meet one elderly doctor, and he said, before I will attend to you, I've gone through your file and I've seen it that you're always coming off and on. That I would write a test for you, you will go and do it, and after the results, we can talk then. So I went, that was Bagada General Hospital. So I went for the test. I was asked to come back in weeks' time, and on getting the results, I know the med lab scientist, she was kind of feeling pitiful for me. I was like, what is wrong? Is there anything? She said, that she would just wish that an elderly person is around with me to collect the result. I said, no, I came all alone. So on getting to the doctor's consulting room, he had to sit me down and let me know that it's not as if you are different from every other person, but you are just kind of unique. And prior to that time, I'd had yellow fever. Yes, I'll say jaundice. That's yellowish discoloration of the scleral, conjunctiva, and part of my body. But there is this misconception that it's due to my grandma using too much of palm oil to cook. So these are just the few things I few out of many I went through. Then my vaso-occlusive crisis is being mistaken for rheumatism because there's this belief that it runs in the family. So whenever I had my crisis, it's like, you had rheumatoid arthritis, and one of your elderly aunties also have that. Your uncles has it, so you are not unique. Like it runs in the family.
Thank you so much, Busayo. So, I would like to ask. I'll fast forward the years, for you guys, and then you can tell us the exciting stories on motherhood and also how you ventured into it. So, I'll start by asking you, what was like, Adiroke, your first pregnancy? How did it come about? Like your journey, was it a smooth journey for you?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Omolola. My first pregnancy, funny enough, it was kind of smooth for me. Maybe I'm thinking maybe because I was young, I was 23, 24. So I think maybe that helped because later on I realized that it wasn't that easy. I had, the other ones, especially the last one, half three. The last one was, really challenging. But the first one, funny enough, was really smooth. My mother was really, really, really apprehensive all through the pregnancies. She has heard so many things. People who have sickle cell, children, childbirth, how will it be? But I've always been somebody that have a lot of faith, and um, and I think at that point I was still pretty much in denial about the fact that I had sickle cell. So I would just pretend like like I like I didn't have the issues. Although I would still even when I didn't want to, my mother would still remind me take care of yourself. Have you taken your drugs and all of that? So pregnancy was smooth for me. For my first, because that's what you asked. For the third one, which is the one that was pretty eventful, he was more challenging. I had postpartum hemorrhaging. I had crisis. Um, Funny enough, the crisis came shortly after labor. I had malaria. It was just a whole lot at the same time. I was bleeding. It was a lot for that other one. And I like I said, maybe it was the age thing, because if I had had that experience that I had with the third one, with that first one, I don't think I would have had more. I would have probably, taken some caution. But because I had the first one and it was smooth, I kind of, relaxed. And once again, I really didn't really factor my genotype into consideration when I was thinking, okay, I want, more than, two kids. And even though I would be honest, I was advised after the second one to stop, to not have more. But I thought let me have one. I almost I almost didn't survive it, but thank God I'm here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So I'm just gonna, before I ask Busayomi also the same question, would you also let us know what were these pregnancies natural? Did you have a CS while to deliver these babies?
Oh, I from my three boys, I had them naturally. I had
Oh,
them by
great.
myself. Uh, yes, yes, I did. For the second one, for the third one, I actually had a premonition that it was going to be tough. So I didn't really think that I would be able to, have the baby by myself. So I told my doctor to just, be on standby. I kind of, how you sense crisis coming. I had that towards my EDD. So I was like, I don't think I have the energy physically, emotionally to do anything. So what I did was I I just told the doctor I would prefer to, have. I was really considering a CS, but the doctor wasn't really so sure. Like, okay, so what if we do it? What if you bleed too much? What if you don't heal as fast? We have to consider all these options, because they still felt like they should. I think they felt like they should be the one to decide if you should have it naturally, or. But I was the one that was feeling. I can't really explain that feeling. I was feeling like I don't know what is coming. Like I think I should just get ready. So I had my mind open, but fortunately I just said okay. I wanted an epidural because I just wanted as much help as I could. So I had an epidural. So I didn't really feel so much pain in the early hours of the labor, although they stopped the epidural like an hour to like when I was already dilated. So all the pain that had been postponed it came in full force. So yeah, I had at the end of the day I had all of them by vaginal delivery.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Busayomi. What was your
That's
experience?
quite a story. I
Oh,
actually
wow.
I actually think it was a bit risky. It took a quite a risk, and that's I don't know why the doctor allowed that though, but to hear from this time around.
I agree.
I don't know, scary, Ronke, what you shared.
For me, mine was an eventful one because I was post dated already. I was in my 40th week, going to the 41st week of pregnancy, and by then you should know that there will be placenta insufficiency. So I was in the hospital for my firstborn from Friday till Tuesday evening. That was when my consultant was called. But already I was tired because my labor was being augmented and it wasn't progressing. So I just said to my then that my doctor was a junior reg. I just said to him that I can't bear it again. Just come and section me. And he was like, no, he should be the one to tell me the options of delivery he wanted. But I told him, I said, my life is at stake now. That if anything should happens to me or my baby, I'm going to sue the whole of the hospital. So that was when he put a call through to the consultant. And the consultant said this, I will never forget. He said, any HC or SS genotype should not be made to go through labor because of crisis. Because once there is insufficiency of oxygen, it might lead to the fetal death and even the murder. So I was rushed in into the theater for emergency CS. Thank God. Then for the second one, I had crisis during my pregnancy. Yes, that was around the second trimester. So the one of the doctor I met, then I was in school of nursing in Djibouti. I went to state hospital in Djibouti, and the doctor made me understand that, Sam Busayo, your case is unique. Which hospital are you using? So I said to him that I'm using Lagos Island Maternity. He said we cannot take care of you here. Just go down to that Lagos Island Maternity. That is where he feels I'm going to get the best of care. So on getting to Island Maternity, the school had to use the school bus to take me down to Lagos. And on getting to Island Maternity, their ER emergency room, I was placed on oxygen, and the doctor said, "Look at me. Let me tell you this. For every pregnancy, as you progress in terms of pregnancy, the crises will come more often. So you need to be careful. Then make sure you take all." Hello, hello. Can I go on?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can,
So
We
we
can hear
can
you.
hear
We
gave
can
you.
hear
me,
Yes,
you.
yes, go on.
okay. He gave me a lot of warnings, and I had my first elective CS. That was during my second child. This third one too, I was having preterm contraction. I wasn't taking it too serious because by then I was already working. I didn't take it too serious. I felt it's just the normal baby kick. But I had a friend, she's a midwife. I'm not a midwife, and she said, "Besides, no, this is preterm contraction, and you know that you already have two previous car. You must not go into labor." So I was in the hospital too for that one. And thank God the CS was successful. But one good thing about this my CS is that I was only transfused once. And reason being that I would say yes, there's as a woman, a pregnant woman, you will have pregnancy craving. But please try as much as possible seek knowledge about that you're craving. For me, I was craving for this chalk, this Igbo native chalk, unzu. I never knew that it do break down the red blood cell. So my PCV from 30 something had to drop to 20. So I had to take transfusion for the third CS. But now I know better that no matter how the craving is, I must not near that unzu of a thing because it do break down the red blood cells. So I had my three kids through CS, and for the record, I never went back to the hospital to dress my surgery site for any reason. So my mother-in-law took good care of me. Then another thing for me is because sometimes when in relationship, people tend to hide their genotype from their in-laws, maybe so that they will not be rejected. It is good you tell them because they might end up being your treatment partner. But when you hide the truth from them, that's why you see some of these people, they force this Hebrew women delivery on them. Not everybody will give birth per vagina. Some will still have to undergo this CS of a thing. But when your genotype is not known, you might be forced to do things you're not supposed to do. So that's my story of birth.
Oh, thank you so much. I think you covered a
Okay,
lot
so
of things that.
I was laughing, I was laughing when you mentioned that thing. I don't know. I still believe it's a myth because for people who have to do these local bone I don't know what they call them, local bone straighteners or something. That's what they use strengthen the bones and all that. Anyway, maybe because it's my picker, that's why I would not accept what you're saying. Because I was going to
No,
ask,
no.
how
Why
did you know that was
they
what
use it?
induced your
Why they
PCV
use
at
it?
that point? Yes.
No, no, no. Did you know?
Mhm.
Did you know one thing about that Inzu chalk? It contains calcium. You get it? It contains calcium. So for the bone
Okay.
setters, they need
Okay.
calcium for
Okay. So that's
bone
why they use it.
formation.
Mm, mm,
Yes, but it do break down
okay.
the red blood cell.
Okay. Okay. So maybe now I'll give this with a pinch of salt. So I was going to ask what you meant by placenta is it insufficient placenta or something? There was
Insufficiency.
something you said at the beginning when
Placenta
you
insufficiency. Yes, you
yes, what
know
does
that
that mean? So that
for every
yes, what does
pregnancy
that mean?
at 38 weeks, you are meant to go into
Mm,
labor naturally or being
okay,
augmented. But for
okay.
me, it was in my 41 weeks. So I am already 3 weeks
Wow.
post date. Are you getting me? Now? I'm supposed to give birth February. That was middle of
Mm,
February was when scan gave me. But my CS came up March 13. You can see that it's quite
mm,
hello.
But
So did you get
I,
it
ha-
now?
okay. Yes,
but I have a question.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, why did you stay that long? Because usually doctors don't really allow you to go past your due date unless maybe you run away or
Yeah.
something. Because in my clinic, the
No,
moment
no.
that day come, if they see you, they won't allow you go home. Oh. So
What
how
really
come? How were
happened?
you able to do 3 weeks?
What really happened in my part is because
Especially with condition, yes.
my consultant was not around. Did you get it? My consultant was not
Okay.
around. So it was the junior red and the senior red that were seeing me. So most of the time they don't even check the date. It was the day they check it and they saw it that I'm already 41 weeks gone. That was the day they admitted me. Did you get it now? It might be oversight from their
It is
own
so it's
part.
a big one, and it's
So
risky. It's a big one.
so
But we thank God for everything.
Yeah, I have a lot of things to say. Exactly. I have a lot of things to say about the doctors and this our healthcare system, but it's not for today. So Ronke, you have a question down there. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Okay, yes. Okay, I can see it. Was there any complication after the
Okay,
third
so please
pregnancy?
can
Like,
you check? Yes.
okay, I'm not sure if like after, apart from I'm not really sure, like during childbirth or whatever. What the major complication I had for the third one was
You
this
know, you said you had a
postpartum.
difficult one your third time. Yes.
Yes, I had postpartum hemorrhaging. So what happened was, I think maybe 5 hours or 7 hours after I had already given birth, I thought the coast was clear, and suddenly I started feeling, I'll feel really really hot, and then I'll start feel really really cold, as in within a short interval of time. So
Period.
after a while, I was wondering what's going on. I'll call myself, open myself. I was still at the hospital. So maybe like 7 hours after the baby had arrived, the baby was already sleeping. I stood up. I felt like changing my sanitary towel. So I stood up from my bed and I was walking to the ward. The way the ward has like some beds, and then you walk to the bathroom. So I stood up, I got to the middle of the ward, and suddenly I felt, I don't know how to describe it. I just couldn't move anymore. I just froze. And when I looked down, I was bleeding. And it was so fast. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I was bleeding, and before I knew it, blood was flowing. And I was in shock. I just stood there. I was just looking down. And one of the other moms that just also had a baby beside my bed, started screaming, calling the nurse. And, when the nurse came, they carried me, back to the bed. They went to look for a doctor. The blood did not stop. It just kept flowing like that. I tried
Flowing.
to like kind of like, hold it, stop it, but it was just happening. And it was, I think, around the time when doctors were changing shifts, so there wasn't really any doctor around. So there was a doctor that was passing. I think he was going to his car
Wow.
to already. So the nurses just hijacked him, and they started looking for gloves. What's happening? They started asking the doctors, how many liters do you think it is? I'm like, how many liters? I was just there, in shock. I couldn't scream anything. And it was later that I learned what it was. It's called PPH, postpartum hemorrhaging. So you just had,
Hemorrhage.
yeah, hemorrhaging. So I just started bleeding.
Hmm.
So what they did was the doctor had to use his hand to reach through my vagina into my womb to clear
Ah,
out. I think there were,
God.
maybe placenta remnants or something. He was, because there was no time to give me anything for pain or anything. They just held me down and
Yeah.
just, hey,
Hmm.
it was painful. I cried. I was crying. Everybody was saying sorry, sorry, sorry. And after they did that, I think that the whole thing, it felt like 1 hour. Well, I don't think it lasted from up to like maybe 5 minutes. And later on, they were explaining that maybe after the baby came and the placenta came, maybe there was something that just triggered that bleeding, that sudden bleeding. So, but luckily I was stabilized. They were going to transfuse me with blood because I lost quite a lot. But I think I regained blood fast enough. So they said, okay, they'll give me 24 hours to see what happens. I was like, I didn't want to, but I was like, okay, you know what? Let's see what happens. I'll try all the ugu and all the stuff that we do to supplement blood. And that was how so when they checked my so they kept checking my CV, my PCV, to monitor and to try to recoup the blood that I had lost. So, but fortunately, after 24 hours, it kind of picked up a bit. So that was how I avoided being transfused. And then after that, I was treated for malaria and a host of that. So I was in the hospital for a while, and then everything kind of stabilized after that. But that was really it was traumatic. It was something.
Yeah, I can
So yeah.
imagine. I can imagine that experience. So there's another question down there. Can you see it
Yes. So, did
for both
any
of you?
of you
Did you have
ever have
any
issues? For me, I was
of your
lucky. My
husband or in-laws
mother-in-law
having
is a.
issues whether you'll be able to have children?
For me, my mother-in-law is a registered nurse. Yes, and
Okay.
she retired from Massey Street Children Hospital, and she happens to work in the outpatient department. Yes, that's where the clinic. So she's more
Mm.
enlightened and aware
Lighten.
about sickle cell. You understand me? But the first thing I do is to let everybody know that this is who I am. So it's either you take me for who I
Mm.
am or nothing at all. But they've been my support
Mm.
system. Yes. And for issue of in-laws having issues about whether we'll be have children or not, I didn't really have that. Yes. Because I even got pregnant before wedding. So
Me
Okay.
that
too.
But
alone
were you
is
ever were you okay, so but were you ever worried maybe before then, before you
I
both met
wasn't. I
your
wasn't.
husbands, did you ever
I'm
get
just this
worried? Mm.
I'm this carefree person. I believe that anything that comes, comes. You get. I don't stress myself over things. When I knock a door, it doesn't open. I believe I'm not meant to go in. So I don't force things to happen. For me, I don't even ever think if I will have children or not. But for me, I already had the plans of the number of kids I want already. So for me, negativity is no.
Mm. I like that. I like that. We need more
I
of that
think
in this community because a lot
I
of
think I
people
really
tend to, kind of hold themselves with these lots of negative, negative emotions, negative feedback from the society and things like that. So this is more the kind of things
Society.
we need.
For
Yes,
that of
Mola, you were saying
for that
something.
of kids is better. For that of kids is better. Do you know that actually some people will look at you and tell you, do you know that sex don't live long? Have you ever heard
Mm.
such from people? And they will look
Yes.
in your eyes and tell you, SS don't live long. One man tete ku o." And sometimes I'll reply them, "Mọ́tò lè gbà náà kó kú."
okay. What she's trying
Shay.
to say is that a car can
So
hit you and you can pass on.
even if you are
So
Yes.
AA,
yeah,
you can add
yeah.
road traffic accident and you will pass on. So being AS or SC doesn't give you the certificate to death.
Mm. That you're going to live
Thank you
long,
so
right?
much. Yes. Thank you so much, Busayo. I think one of the things that you've raised today is that you were very open about your genotype and you got a lot of
Yeah.
support from your in laws. Did you also experience that, Ronke? Was that the same journey, or were you in hiding that I don't want my in laws to know? Or what was it like for you? Briefly, if you
Um,
can touch on that.
Okay, well, I've always been very upfront about a lot of things for me personally. Like I'm open about my genotype and everything. So no, I didn't have any issues with any in-laws. Like Busayomi said, I was also, also got pregnant. Before, I got married. So there wasn't any fear at that point that, oh, maybe you won't have kids or anything. Although when I was growing up, I used to think that, okay, what if I don't have kids? And in my head, I had a backup plan. Oh, maybe I'll adopt kids because I'm very open-minded about stuff like that. But eventually, I realized that okay, I had kids, and so that was fine.
Okay, we have one more question. Like the comments keep rolling in. So, how do you guys manage with three kids? Kids can be a handful. I will start with you, Ronke,
Yeah.
because you have boys.
Okay, so yeah, they are a handful. So if you have me, anytime you see my camera go off, I'm going to sort something out or the other. But I think, well, thank
Wow.
God. Well, I think for me, I would say is a good thing they didn't come as triplets because I don't know how people who suddenly have three kids cope. So you have one, and then you have two, and then you're adjusting small, small. So for me, it was like that. And I was always so grateful that the gap between my first and my second was a little big. So I had some breathing space. So when the second baby come, my first baby was already 4 years. It was 4 years old when I had a new baby. So that helped me. Although the other one is closer. So at that point, I was already an experienced mom. And I'm also somebody that is very passionate about time management and productivity. So I'm always looking for tips and tricks what can I try? How can I, arrange this? So I think the way I manage it is just to keep growing, keep finding solutions, and then structure. That's what helps me a lot. If you have a structure, if you have a structure routine, if you're organized, things would, go smooth. Yes, it's really really challenging, and but you get used to it, and after a while you begin to manage them quite well, and people wonder, like, how do you do it? Thank you. I don't know how about Busayomi.
Yeah, Busayomi,
For
how was
me,
it?
my mother-in-law
Yeah.
and my husband has been my backbone. You know, I'm a nurse and we run shifts.
Oh
So
wow,
most of the
true.
time, I'm not always at work. At a time, I moved out of our place. We were in our own place, but she kept saying, "Busayo, you cannot stay alone. I can't bear to see you go down. So you have to come back. Let me oversee some things for you." And she has been that from day one of my marriage. She has been my backbone and my husband. So for me, I don't really have problem with my kids. So I have people that do help me out in taking care of them. Even when I'm at work, my mind is at rest that they are in safe hands at home. And I make sure that I get to check them up at school. Yes, I have their teacher's number. I can, whenever I have any concern, I can always call. I can always walk into the school to lay any complaint or to check on them in case of any deviation from normal.
Hmm. I think you're doing a great job. I like that part where
So
you're
what
checking for
you
deviation. That's intentional, and I think that's really really important. Well done.
Thank you. So somebody asked about the
I think
pregnancy
one thing that keeps
craving.
them coming up is having a great support system.
Yes, that's very
Yes, the
good.
one you mentioned.
You must have one. You must have one. Then somebody is talking
Mine was
about
eating
the
out.
pregnancy craving. For me, if you crave for food is better than any other thing. You know, some people crave for sand, some rock. Some, yes, there are a lot of, there's this word for abnormal craving. Yes, but for now I can't really remember it.
Pika.
So, but
It's
for
called
me, a hair piker,
it's
yes.
called Pika.
So for me, I
Yes.
would advise warriors like me that please don't go near Unzu. Please, I am begging, because it will fasten up the
I have
rate
it right
of
now
your
beside me. Oh.
hemolysis. It
Can
will
I see,
fasten
please?
the
I want to
rate.
see you. I don't
Is
even
this
know. I was
Igbo
planning on
native
googling
chalk?
it when I'm done.
I actually don't
Ozu,
know. I just know the chalk that everyone takes, the white
yes.
chalk. Yeah.
So
No, I
please,
eat it all
please,
the time. I mean, it's gotten to the extent where my mom has to give it to me because it's like I can't do without it sometimes. I'm serious.
uh during my own time, I had it in my bags, under my pillow, and every other thing. But it was when I went for my PCV, I got to know the damage that it has caused.
Mm.
So my PCV from, I think, 36% to 21, you can see. So it will hasten up the rate of hemolysis. That's the breakdown of red blood cell.
Of red blood cells. Yeah. Thank you very much to you both. Thank you for Sayomi and Ronke. It's been a great time on Touch Yourself show tonight. I mean, we can't thank you enough. It's been
I think she froze there. I would just like to say thank you guys for joining tonight. And this is a topic that I know that we need more time to do justice to.
Yeah,
To do
yeah.
And
justice.
we want to be able to call on you guys next time when we have topics on women to join in. And also, what will be your last in if you had to give one tip to a warrior that wants to have kids, what would be yours? I will start with Ronke, then Busayo. You can then we can round up.
Okay, for me, everything about life as a warrior, life generally is about positivity and about your thoughts. Because eventually your whole experience is going to be based on the things you think about. So if you think about good things will happen to you. That's one of the laws of the universe. So that's how it works. So um everybody should be positive, but sickle cell warriors need positivity like in double dose. Am I saying double? No, not more than double. Like you need to be, if everybody is having faith just one, you need like 10 or a dozen or even more. You because you hmm anyway, I don't even know how to I don't know, I don't have the words, but basically positivity and watching our thoughts, because it's not even enough to really think you're positive. You have to keep watching your thoughts like every day. Try and step back. Okay, so what are the things you're thinking about? You yourself try to analyze and watch and keep track. And apart from this, I would say organization, like trying to organize your environment, your thoughts, your mind, your energy. I think it helps you go a long way, because as a warrior, I know this is relative, but we have less of what most people have. Because okay, you're falling sick, something is happening, so you have less time, you have less energy. So if you organize yourself well, you would be able to do more than people who have everything in full, in quotes, who are not, you're not in and out of the hospital. They are strong, they can go out when the weather is cold and all of that, if you organize very well. So those two things for me are like what I would advise people, anybody watching now or anybody who is a warrior. You need to, number one, be positive. Always work on being positive, and then always make sure you organize everything, not just physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually. You have to be organized, and by doing that, I don't know, I think you thrive. There's no way about it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We're
Thank you,
running out
thank
of
you.
time. So, Busayomi, one
Yeah.
last tip from you.
Well, let me just say this little story. There was a day I was at work, and the person that ought to charge the was called. And she said to my apex that, ma, we are five and a half at work. And I said, Oga, you said we are five and a half. She said, yes. I said, who is the half? She said, it's you. I said, Oga, we are not five and a half. We are five. Say, how come? I said, you yourself, you are half, I'm half. So two of us, we are one. Plus the four others. So we are five. One thing, let
Oh my God, I
nobody,
like this one.
let
Talk you
nobody
down.
talk you down. Another thing, when you have that excess energy as a warrior, please make use of it. I don't conserve my energy. I do things that makes me happy. I don't mind in the next 2 hours going into crisis. But while I'm on that bed with my crisis, I smile because I know that I make most use of the energy I had then. Another thing for a warrior is let no pastor deceive you. Don't be deceived by a
I
religious
like this
body.
one.
Learn
In fact, I
learn to
love this one.
I
accept
think I'm
yourself.
feeling this one as well.
Learn to accept yourself. I'm a member of Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church. I don't allow anybody. I go to the pulpit. I'm an upcoming pastor in my church. I go to the pulpit. I minister. I tell them who I am. Is either you take me for who I am or you let me be. You cannot deceive me. You cannot cajole me to be who I am not. Another thing is for
Mm.
the puzzle life has placed before you. Please look at it, rearrange it, and make most use of it. Another thing for a warrior is believe in yourself. When you don't believe in yourself, nobody will believe in you. If there's anything about me while I was in the university, I used to say to other colleagues, I would tell them, you can never intimidate me. When I see them climbing, I climb. When I see them jumping, I jump. I don't mind going into crisis the next minute. But you know what? I had make most use of my time. And another thing is
Mm.
let everybody around you accept you for who you are. I don't have too much friends, but for the little I have, they know me. When I'm in crisis, I'm in crisis. When I'm not in crisis, in fact, you will see me everywhere. Even at work, everybody will say, ah, Tade Bati Yansin, once you are fine now, we will see you everywhere. I will tell them, yes, I will go everywhere. You will see me everywhere. I will do everything. I will eat everything. So please let nobody force you to become who you are not. Then, number one, love yourself enough. And don't allow anybody to use you for the control of their experiments. The damage might not be reversible. You will see so many people telling you, use this, use
Yeah.
that. I have somebody that did this, that did that. Please don't allow them to use you as control for their experiments. The effect, the aftermath of it might not be reversible. Please, there might be hemiplegia, quadriplegia, and you might not come out of it on time. So please accept who you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I think you said it, you rounded it up. And this was despite all the network challenges we had today, I think this was a very exciting show. And we'll definitely call on you again to come on this show because I know
No
some of the things
problem.
that you're saying, you're definitely both shaking tables. Like people are commenting and they're so happy with the comments that statements that you've made tonight. So over to you, Maureen, to close us out. And please do share your social media handles in case any warriors want to get in touch with you in terms of just
Okay.
motivating them. Please just share it in the chat
Okay.
box so that people can get in touch with you guys. Thank you. Over to you, Maureen. Okay, I think she froze. So I'm just gonna. Okay, she's dialing in. Okay, I'm just gonna say thank you once again and for everyone that. Okay, she can close out. Maureen, over to you to close out.
Okay, sorry, this network has been very, very shaky today. So thank you, Busayo. It was nice meeting you and Ron Care. Thank you for being on the Touch Itself show. I mean, I've really, really learned a lot. And for the viewers out there, all you warriors, you can hear every time we come on this show, we are telling you, love yourself, accept who you are. And now we're taking it a top, a notch higher. Do not let people deceive you, whether you're religious leaders or whoever wants to experiment on you. Do not let them. Accept yourself first, and then you see what happens to you. So thank you so much, Busayo. Thank you, thank you. It's been a great time having you on the show. Thank you, Ronke. You all can follow Ronke on Instagram. And here's Instagram handle. It should be on the screen right now at the underscore real. So you can follow her on Instagram and you can see she does a lot of wonderful teachings out there. You follow her. So thank you, ladies. And I hope we'll do this some other time, maybe real soon or some other time.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been
We look,
wonderful.
yeah, we look forward to having you, calling up on you later on in the year. Oh,
All right.
enjoy
Yes.
the rest of your weekend, ladies, and stay blessed. Till we meet again to our viewers. good night, and remember to love yourself this week if you haven't done that earlier. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. So this has been Touch Yourself Show brought to you by Sickle Cell Advocacy and our social media handle, Facebook, and Sammy Update TV on YouTube. So we'll come your way next time, next same time next week. Have a blessed weekend.